the goal. I hear the call to turn, and I will give my all. I could set the pace. We are driven ever faster by the dreams we love to chase. At the finish stands the master. I will let him set the pace. Up ahead, far in the distance, I can see the prize. I'll keep my heart set on this goal. I'll press toward the finish, never looking behind. We are driven ever faster by the dreams we love to chase. At the finish stands the master. I will let him set the pace. I will let him set the pace.
By the dreams we love to chase. I will let him set the pace.
We are driven by our We are driven ever faster by our dreams. Won't you let him set the pace? Ever faster by our dreams. I will let him set the pace. And I'll give my life to Jesus, and I'll go with him each day, and I'm gonna keep my ears wide open for words I'll hear him say. He has promised to go with me, not one step I'll take alone. My every need provided. He'll meet them one by one. And I know he's been planning each footstep that I take, and I know he promised. He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, but he'll go with me, and this promise he'll never break. He has promised to go with me, not one step I'll ever take alone. My every need provided. You meet then one by one. Oh yes, I know He will provide. My Jesus, I love thee. I know thou art mine. For thee all the follies of sin I resign. My gracious Redeemer, my Savior, art thou. If ever I love thee, my Jesus, 'tis now. I think that of all the songs that I've had the privilege of recording, I think that little medley is probably one of my favorites. He provides, and that's why I love him, because he's always there for us, and he's always providing what we need. This week has been one of those weeks. We left Orlando, and we got to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and I spent a couple of nights with my son and his family. And the morning we were getting ready to leave on Tuesday, my wife called at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she said, I've got a flat tire. Now, she's in Florida, I'm in North Carolina, and I'm supposed to fix this. So I called the dealership, and I found the number that I needed to call to get her a tow and get her car over there. And she missed going into work, so she worked from home or from the dealership by phone for 4 hours. And just when I thought I had everything all worked out, I was getting ready to comb my hair and stick the brush in my hook. And the hook wouldn't open. It wouldn't open, it wouldn't close, it wouldn't spit at me, nothing. And Carl noticed that there was a wire hanging out that went nowhere, that was supposed to go down into the hole, into the arm that was going to feed the power to the hook. So Wednesday we stopped in New Jersey. And Wednesday in the afternoon, a guy from a company called Bionic Prosthetics and Orthotics worked on my arm, had the whole wrist unit apart, and he worked on my arm and then said, I don't know if I fixed it or not, but apparently when I took it on, put it on, we noticed that the hook still wasn't working, but the wire was attached. So Saturday night or Thursday night or Tuesday night in Winston-Salem, or in Pennsylvania, because that's where we had to be, I had to sing with a microphone in the mic stand because I couldn't open and close my hook, because I hadn't thought far enough ahead to figure out how I was going to force the microphone in between the hook so it would stay. That came yesterday. So I put the arm on this morning, and I pushed the button like I normally do out of habit, without thinking about the fact that the hook wasn't working, and all of a sudden the hook started to work. So my wife called me from the airport, said, I'm all checked in, and I said, hey, you've been praying about my arm and my hook, haven't you? And she said, nope. And I said, then I guess God healed my hook without any help from you. She said, yep. And it's been working off and on ever since. And we're here. Actually, we managed to get it to work enough to where we could fit the mic in there, lock it in there, and for last night. And for those of you that were here last night, you didn't even know my hook wasn't working, right? Because I didn't say anything. Because I didn't want that to be another cloud over the evening. But you know, it's interesting to me. Pastor Ed, we've been coming here now, how many years? 6. 6? Last night it was 8. Tonight it's 6.
Yeah, I'm cutting you back.
Stu, where are you? How many times have I been here? You know everything. All of them.
Probably, at least 4. We've been here 4.5 years, so with us, 4 years.
Okay, I thought it was more than that. Okay. Yeah, okay. Huh?
You were here before us, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I was here for, what, Sunday morning? Yeah, okay. Well, last year we got a chance to share, and I brought in my friend Jeff Rudloff, and we got a chance to share my 50th anniversary in ministry. That was a fun night, wasn't it? Yeah, we had a good time. I wore myself out. I used to be taller. Yeah, but at least I'm thinner.
Listen, I'll almost be taller than you laying down.
I'm going to leave that alone. I haven't been paid yet. No, I'm kidding. When we started out, and I did this song last year, but just to kind of give some of you a little bit of a background for those of you who don't know who I am, how many of you have never heard me sing? Let me see your hand. Where have you all been? I just sang 4 songs, 3 songs. So when I first started back in 1972, I met a young man by the name of Jeff Rudloff, and we were at a mission service on a Sunday afternoon in a little church in a little town called West Penn. And to make a long story short, he was in high school, I was in college. He played for me that Sunday afternoon, played piano, because his mom, who played by ear, and so does Jeff, didn't like to do it if she didn't know who she was playing for. She wanted to have the music in front of her, even if she never looked at it. And she never looked at it. So, but Jeff had no shame. So I said, do you have a piano player? And everybody pointed to the lady sitting at the piano. And she turned around, looked down the aisle, and said, Jeff. And this guy, about 5'8", 5'9", starts lumbering down the aisle. And he said, "What are you going to sing?" And I said, "Well, do you know the King is coming in E flat?" He said, "I know the King is coming, but he's not coming in that key for you." Because he already knew what key I could sing it in. And so he sat down and just started to play, and I sang. And it started a wonderful friendship. I was privileged to sing a lot of the songs that he wrote. And while I was in college, we started a trio. We were called the Total Victory Trio. There were 5 of us in the group. Obviously, math was not our strong suit. And during the course of that period of time, Jeff and I and my trio went into Casey Studios in Virginia. And we recorded our only album for that trio titled by a song that Jeff wrote called "He Must Have Loved Me." Some months later, after the album was released, I found out that Jerry Falwell and the Old Time Gospel Hour trio and Doug Oldham, a singer who was well known in the Gaither circuit, they were all going to be in a little town called Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And I went there with only one thing in mind. I wanted to meet Doug to find out how I could get a record deal. I didn't care about the service. I didn't care about the music. I didn't care about the message. I wanted to meet Doug and get a deal. I mean, after all, I'm a Jewish boy. What else could I do? I make you such a deal. Yes, no finer garments you could buy in the city. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Just because you're my friends, I make you such a deal. Well, one thing led to another, and I appeared on the Old Time Gospel Hours program in October of 1972, and that launched my career. 50 years. And for an awful lot of that 50 years, I opened with the song I'm going to do. And the song I'm going to follow it with is the song that I sang for Doug when he looked me in the eye and said, "Let's see what you got." It goes like this. I've enlisted for life in the army of the Lord. The fight may be long, but we'll win the victory with truth as my armor and faith my sword. And at the front of the battle I shall be. Hear the tramp, tramp, tramp of the army. The triumphant shouting, 'cause the foe we're routing. Come march along with the happy throng. And at the front of the battle walk with me. And is your name written down with the loyal and the true? Would you dare to stand with the faithful few? Won't you now come along, your strength renewed? At the front of the battle walk with me. Hear the tramp, tramp, tramp of the army. The triumphant shouting, 'cause the foe we're routing. Come march along with the happy throng. And at the front of the battle walk with me. And hear the tramp, tramp, tramp of the army. The triumphant shouting, 'cause the foe we're routing. Come march along with the happy throng. And at the front of the battle walk with me. Well, come on now, march along with the happy throng. And at the front of the battle walk with me. Pastor Ed, this one's for you. This one's my favorite. I traveled down a lonely road, and no one seemed to care. The burdens on my I'd oft complain to Jesus how folks were treating me. And then I heard him say so tenderly, my feet were oh so weary upon that Calvary road. My cross became so heavy that I fell beneath the load. Be faithful, weary pilgrim, the morning I can see. Just lift your cross and follow close to me. I'd worked so hard for Jesus, I'd often boast and say, I've sacrificed so many things to walk this narrow way. I gave up fame and fortune. I'm worth an awful lot to thee. These are the very words he gently spoke to me. I left the throne of glory and counted it but loss. My hands were nailed in anger upon a cruel cross. But now we'll make this journey with your hand safe in mine, and I'll lift my cross and I'll follow close to I may not be big and tall, as everyone can see. Actually, I'm rather small. Take a look at me. As you can tell, I'm not so strong. Not your average set of bones, but I have realized all along I am not alone. There's a giant that lives inside of me, a giant that everyone can see. Come on, y'all, try this. I'm a tiny giant. I'm weak, but I am strong. I'm a tiny giant. I'm gnawing on a log. I'm a tiny giant. Tell me, can't you see? He is strong when I enter. There's a giant inside. inside of me. The Bible says, greater is he that is than he that is. Woo! How such a great big God can be in such a tiny space will always be a mystery. It's a miracle of grace. There's a giant that lives inside of me, a giant that everyone can see. I'm a tiny giant. I'm weak when I am strong. I'm a tiny giant. I've known it all along. I'm a tiny giant. Tell me, can't you see? He is strong when I enter this giant inside of me. Don't you love weird noises in church? Of course, we're all used to weird noises in church, aren't we, Pastor? This is great. This has been an interesting year. I went back to driving Uber. Hi, I'm your Uber driver. And they see the hook on the wheel, and it's like, were you born like that? I had one guy actually did that. He looked at my hook. He said to me, he said, were you born like that? I said, without the hook. That would really hurt. People do the strangest things. I had a 5-year-old, wanted to know why I didn't have any hands. I told him I used to bite my fingernails, and one day I went too far. He's in trauma therapy. But he's got great looking nails, long ones. People do the strangest things when they see a guy that looks different. I mean, you know, kids are honest. When a little kid's going to stare at you, he's going to flat out stare at you. Always wanted to do this to a kid. People do the strangest things. I was here last night and for the police officers and the first responders that were here, and I told them this great story. I was in Alabama one time, and there's nothing more fun than getting stopped by a cop when you look like me. So this guy gets out of the car. He's about 6 foot something or other, and he unfolds himself out of the car. And he's got his hair cut so wide around his ears that you could drive a truck around him. Typical Southern good old boy. Redneck. Comes up to me. I rolled down my window on my town car and had my hook on the wheel, and he comes up and he looks in the window and he sees the hook and he says, you have a driver's license? I'm thinking, spit it out, boy. I've got places to go, people to meet, and things to do. So I reached over and I pushed the the door open, and I kind of kicked it open with my foot, and I said, "Yes, sir, officer." I said, "My license is in my wallet is in my back pocket, and you get to reach back there and get it." You have a nice day and drive slower. And he turned and walked back to his car. His partner stops about halfway and says, "You sure you got a driver's license?" I wanted so bad to say, "Nah, just kidding." But those Alabama boys, they're serious about throwing people in jail. Of course, the good news, Pastor, is they wouldn't have to use more than one handcuff. And they wouldn't even have to put it behind me. I could just take it off and let them go off with it. I had a situation a number of years ago. This is one of my fun stories. Back years ago when we were sending, Stu, you're probably too young to remember these days, but back in the days when we actually had to use mail, postal mail. Yeah, stamps, you had to, so you put a label on the PR package and it goes to where you want it to go. Well, my wife was doing the shipping, and my arm was broken. It was another one of those times when I had to send my arm out to California to be fixed. And we were sending a promo packet for a concert we were going to do to Arkansas. My wife stuck the label for the arm on the package with the PR, and stuck the label for the PR to the pastor on the box that had my arm. So I found out about this when the pastor called me and said, "Well, now I'm sure you're coming because you already sent part of yourself on ahead." He got up that Sunday, held my arm up from the pulpit in this very established Methodist church, held my arm up and said, "Jeff Steinberg's going to be with us, and I know he's coming because he's already sent his arm on ahead." And the people went berserk. It was great. I still never did find out what the prosthetics people thought when they got the advertising package. People do the strangest things. But it's not just about that. I mean, I can tell you story after story after story. This car I have now, it's a white Lincoln MKZ. But the car I had before that was a red Lincoln Town Car. I don't know if I told this story here or not. Did I tell this story? I don't think so. So a number of years ago, I was in Michigan with a pastor friend of mine. And he said, "It probably looked more professional if your car and trailer matched." I said, "Yeah, it probably would, if I could afford it." He said, "Well, I've got this friend who owns a body shop, and we could probably barter a deal." So we went over and saw him, and we bartered a deal for $500, and he painted my trailer the same color of burgundy as my car. About a week or two later, I'm in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at the Haynes Mall. And I pulled into one of these double pull-through parking spaces. One where you pull through with the trailer behind you. And as I was pulling into my space, standing on the line, I encountered one of North Carolina's indigenous species. The redneck. Now, Jeff Foxworthy says you might be a redneck if you wear a belt buckle with your initials on it. Check. He also says you might just be a redneck if you wear a tank top and your armpit hairs show. Check. This woman scored on both points. So I'm getting out of the car, and she starts to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you remember Edith Bunker from All in the Family? This lady sounded just like a Southern Edith Bunker. I'm getting out of the car. She's standing right beside my driver's side headlight, and she says, "Ain't it amazing how you was able to find a trailer the same color as your car?" I looked back at the trailer. I turned to her and I said, "No, ma'am." I said, "What's more amazing is I bought the car because it was the same color as the trailer." No kidding. And you think I'm handicapped. People do the strangest things. I was talking to someone before the concert tonight. And something he said triggered confirmation to me the direction I want to go for tonight. Tuesday night, a very dear pastor friend of mine in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania, provided a night of accommodations for us at a hotel. And he said, "Would you mind coming and just sing a few songs and talk to my core group?" I said, "Well, do you have a theme?" And he said, "Yeah. We're starting to build our group into a ministry that reaches out, that doesn't just simply invite people in. Our theme is going deeper." And I thought and I prayed and I thought and I prayed. And I even talked to Pastor Ed when I knew we were coming. And I had this whole different direction I was thinking, until a brother here said to me, "Our ministry needs to be about going out there and sharing love with the people out there. And not just having them come in here." Coming here gives a moment of refreshment. But going out there and feeding their spirit, that's where the battles are won. That's where the ministry is. And I thought about it. And I thought, the hardest part about being a child of God is in letting Him do through me what I can't possibly do for myself. And yet every week, every day, I have somebody, whether it's Carl. By the way, y'all turn around and say hi to Carl back there. Or whether it's my wife, Ellen, or whether it's a friend, Frank. People that I rely on who help me because they know that in order for me to share my message, I need what they can do to help me. I think that's what this song is all about. And we're going to take a break right after this and give Stuart a chance to come up here and do the thing that he does. But I want you to listen to the words of this song. It's on our latest album. By the way, Carl, you're not switching back and forth with the logo in between the songs. All right? But this song says it all. It says, Lord, make my heart an open door. Goes like this. Just because the doors are opened in this building where we meet doesn't mean the lost and lonely will find the love they need. It takes people of compassion whose hearts are open wide, for the hurting ones can know God's love waits inside. An open door in every race, rich and poor, God's kingdom move. I'll get there. Make my heart an open door, inviting every race, embracing rich and poor. God's kingdom will grow like it never has before when we make our hearts an open door. We can reach out to the homeless, give them shelter from the storm, offer water to the thirsty, give God's joy to those who mourn, put our arms around the lonely so their broken hearts can mend. They'll hear the voice of Jesus saying, welcome, and you're in. Let's make our hearts an open door, inviting every race, embracing rich and poor. God's kingdom will grow like it never has before when we make our hearts, when we make our hearts, when we make our hearts an open door, inviting every race, embracing rich and poor. God's kingdom will grow like it never has before when we make our hearts open door. You've got to reach out. Give God's joy to those who mourn. God's kingdom will grow when we make our hearts an open
Jeff Steinberg. Let's have a hand for him. Jeff's got some merch back there. You ought to check it out. He's got some albums. He's got some drawings, some paintings that he did, which is amazing. If you talk to me a little bit about that. I have 4 of them. Ed has 4 of them. I'm just really blessed to have them. But I can't even paint a house, and he's painting like this. It's just pretty amazing. So we see that Hamas has attacked Israel, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised at that, but we stand with Israel. Amen. We stand solidly behind it. I never thought I'd see the day when unprecedented anti-Semitism and sentiment against Christianity has grown to this point. But we shouldn't be surprised at that either, because Jesus said that that's what would happen. More than ever, like Jess says, it's time to reach out, to get out there, to tell our friends, tell coworkers, neighbors about the love that Christ has for us. There's nothing in the world that can take its place. We're going to pass the basket and ask you to be super generous for Jeff, is how he makes his living. Jeff came up here from Florida, and it's just a long trip. And we want to bless him, bless his ministry. He's been doing this 51 years now, and just pretty excited about that. Well, let you know the next week we've got Undefeated. Undefeated's coming with Saved by Scarlet, or vice versa. They are coming out here. They're going to rock the mill. It's a great, if you got grandkids, kids, or just want to hear some real loud music, then come on out. We've got earplugs. These guys are great. I love the fact that they write. I love the fact that since they've been teenagers, they've been following the Lord and spreading his gospel. And I think that's pretty exciting. We need to see more of that, because we are, let's face it, just a little bit too old to reach that generation. And we need people who are out there willing to do this, excited to do it, have the energy and the time to do it, and who God has ordained to do this. The last Friday of the month, we have Caitlin Woods and Sarah Roberts coming. They'll be joined by Galen Porter. Galen Porter's new to us, and he'll be coming out. Awesome. I've heard him online. Incredible worship artist. And, of course, Kate and Sarah, also worship artists and worship leaders in their church in Warrigan, Connecticut. So they're going to come out, and they're going to bless you mightily. Crimson Rain, our old friends Crimson Rain, are coming November 3rd. They'll be here, and we're excited to have them back. The following week is a Mill Church night. I'm not sure exactly what's happening at this point, but it's a Mill Church night. And then following that, the third week of November, we have McGrail. We'll be back in a few minutes with more Jeff Steinberg.
Probably one of my favorite songs to play live, and it's all because this guy back here. Let's give it up for our good friend Craig Roberts on drums. He's the one that makes this song come alive, so come on, buddy.
Hey, we're back. We got more Jeff Steinberg for you. Once again, got some pretty cool things. We are closed Thanksgiving, of course. Eat more turkey. Next week, Undefeated. Undefeated comes with Saved by Scarlet for a Rock the Mill tonight. If you have friends who've got a youth group out there, then invite them. In fact, suggest they definitely come. They don't want to miss this. These guys are hot. They are awesome. They're up-and-coming bands and with great notoriety. They love the Lord. They definitely bring it. On the 27th, Caitlin Woods, Sarah Roberts, and Galen Porter. Definitely don't want to miss this. Awesome night, awesome night. Speaking of awesome night, we're glad that Jeff is here. Carl, thank you for helping. We appreciate y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let's have a hand for Jeff Steinberg.
I have to tell you, I was told I had to tell you that, no, I did not forget the words to the song, to the first verse. When you saw the screen change in the middle of the intro for that song and then change back, what you didn't know was when he changed it back, it started the song all over again. And that threw me off timing-wise and chord-wise, and so I didn't know exactly where I was at, and I had to wait until I finally caught up with the chorus. So that's, and you think I'm handicapped. You know, you just can't get good help these days. What can I say? Carl does a good job, and he has given up a week of a lot more money just to be able to travel with me and help me out this week. And he and his wife are very, very dear friends of ours. In fact, my wife and his wife went out to dinner last night and shared a steak dinner. And would you please make welcome one more time my friend Carl Baumer. In a world of hate and fear, people need someone to care. Let them see love through me, your hand extended. In all I say and do, just let your life come shining through. Jesus loved the world through me. Love the world through me. Love the world through me. And let my life and my voice cause their hearts to rejoice. Jesus loved the world through me. Use me, Lord, in every lonely place to paint a portrait of your grace, reaching out with a loving arm and a heart of compassion to those who hurt so much. Just let me be your healing touch. Jesus loved the world through me. Love the world through me. Love the world through me. And let my life and my voice hearts to rejoice. Jesus loved the world through me. You can love the world through me. Even me, Lord, love the world through me. And let my life and my voice cause their hearts to rejoice. Jesus loved the world. Reach out to every man, woman, boy, and girl. Jesus loved the world. Through me. Love the world through me. They need your love. Please touch the world through me. Love the world through me. Love the world. Love the world through me. Love the world through me. Stuart, where are you? This one's for you, whether you're here or not. And Jeff, it's for you too. Just an empty glove lying on the table was my life without the master's hand. Nothing on my own, so useless alone. Lord, feel this willing glove with your hand. Lord, let me be the glove you wear today. Use me, Lord, to show someone you care today. And this is all I ask as you perform your task. Lord, let me be the glove you a tool, nothing more, is the glove that is worn on a carpenter's, surgeon's, police officer's hand. And no credit ever belongs to the glove he has on. When God today. This is all I ask. As you perform your task, Lord, let me be the glove you I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And neither in height nor depth, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present or things to come will separate me from the love of God. But that relationship only goes as deep and as far as we are willing to let him take us. And oftentimes that means getting us out of our comfort zone. This whole week has been a lesson in out of my comfort zone. You know the old adage, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. I broke my arm. The good news is I didn't have to go to the hospital. All I had to do is take it off and let him take it in the other room and work on it. The flat tire. But even before this week, as we were thinking about coming up, we knew we didn't have a lot. We knew that we didn't have the full tour that we usually do, where we're gone for 3 or 4 weeks. And I knew that we were coming up primarily to be here. And I knew that I was coming up to talk to police officers and to thank them. And first responders, to thank them. So I said to Carl, we're going to do something a little different. And he looked at me with his eyes kind of really wide, like really different, like different from what you usually do that's really different. And I said, yeah, we're not going to bring the trailer. So I had him pull some pieces of gear, and I ordered a rack, a small carry rack for my gear, which we assembled on Tuesday night. Because I knew Jeff was here, and I knew Jeff knew my system and knew my setup, and if anybody can handle me, Jeff can handle me. But I got to tell you, it's a bit out of my comfort zone not having my speakers and my gear and being able to control how it sounds, because that's the way I've done it for 50 years. But I look in the mirror and I see what God is doing and the changes he's making in my life. This boy born with no arms and malformed legs, who grew up in hospitals and homes for kids with disabilities, listening to my mother tell me all the things that I couldn't do, shouldn't do, or wouldn't do. So I did them. She told me one day, she said, Jeffrey, she said, you can't. I was 15 years old. I was talking about what every 15-year-old talks about. I was talking about getting a driver's license. And my mom said, Jeffrey, you can't get a driver's license. You can't drive a car. You don't have any arms. I said, Mom, there are people in government with no sense. What's your point? I remember my grandmother telling my mother. I wasn't there, but I remember being told about it. My father had decided that nobody should tell my mother about me, and my mother did not know about my disability till I was 17 months old. And she didn't see me for the first time till I was 2. But my grandmother came into the kitchen, and she sat down at the kitchen table while Mom was dicing something for dinner, and she said, Ruthie, he's alive. And my mom put the knife down, and she just put her hands on the counter, and she said, Mom, why won't they let me see him? Is he ugly? My grandmother stood up and she walked over to my mom. She put her arm around her and she said, no, Ruthie, he's not ugly. He's beautiful. He has a Yiddish cup, a Jewish head, a Jewish face. I think I'm glad, Pastor, that I wasn't at dinner that night when my mom faced my dad. It was not pretty. And the first time she held me in her arms, I was almost 2 years old in a children's welfare shelter in Philadelphia. My life has always been about being outside the comfort zone. But when I walk into churches and I walk around and I'm around Christian people, what I'm seeing is a body of believers saying, come be a part of our group. Be with us in here. Instead of us getting together and saying, we're going out there. When I was in high school, there was a counselor who was a Christian, and he had a sign at his church that I saw every time I drove by it. It said, this church is not a hospital for sinners, or it's not a museum for sinners, for saints, it's a hospital for sinners. I'll get it right eventually. It's not a museum for saints, it's a hospital for sinners. I'm a masterpiece. But my job isn't to hang on the wall in the church. My job is to showcase the master artist out there and let them see what he can do. How many of you, let me see a show of hands, how many of you love the Lord? How many of you look in the mirror and see what he has made you to be, and you love the Lord still? Ooh, not quite as many. And one hand that went up a little late. Do you see where I'm going with this? If the righteous scarcely be saved, where will the ungodly and the sinner come? The truth of the matter is, if you don't like who you are and who God made you to be, if you're looking in the mirror looking for excuses as to why you're not good enough, if you're saying, God, you got it all wrong, I'm not your guy, how are you going to convince the world out there that God loves them and wants to be a part of their life? After all, he made them too. Carl and I watched last night. We were watching a couple of rounds of Family Feud. Now, I'm not going to tell you, extol the virtues of Family Feud, and I'm not going to tell you some of the jokes they told. But what I am going to tell you is that when they introduced Steve Harvey in every single one of the episodes that we watched last night, he came out and he said, "Welcome to Family Feud. I'm your man, Steve Harvey." When was the last time you stepped up to somebody you didn't know and said, "I'm your man, Jeff Steinberg. How can I make your life better? What can I do to be a glove for him to wear to show you that he cares? Lord, let me be the glove." Going deeper isn't about looking good. And by the way, I do look good. That's exactly right. And don't you forget it. But it's true, folks. It's not about us looking good. It's about us doing good. The pastor we were with on Tuesday night, they've got some acreage. I mean, serious acreage for this little Assembly of God church in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. And one day somebody came to the church and said, "Would you mind if we parked our RV? And we'd like to maybe come to service on Sunday." And my friend Tim said, "Sure." And all of a sudden, because he had asked the Lord, how can we make the best use of this place that God gave us? How are we going to reach out to the community? And the community came to him. And they have started, and now seasonally they've got a whole bunch of people that the church ministers to. Some of them come to church and some of them don't. Some of them give and donate, some of them don't. They asked him, they said, "How much do you want for us to stay here?" And he said, "You know what? It's our gift to you. We want to bless you." That's reaching out. That's going deeper. That's getting a group of people together who can go visit someone in the hospital and knows how to pray with people and knows how to hug them and love them and cry with them and laugh with them. And they don't need the pastor's permission or the pastor's oversight to do it. That's going deeper. Bringing food to somebody's house when there's been a death or when there's hurt. Pastor Ed, you're the best auctioneer I know. And I've only known 2, maybe 3. And you're good at what you do. But don't get real comfortable, because it's gonna turn right here. God's taking you to a different place. The chaplaincy with the police, I don't guess it's going to be real easy. But I can tell you this. You're going to do what you have always done. You're going to sow into their lives. And you're going to minister to them. Not because of the words you speak. How many times I've had people who've said to me, "Jeff Steinberg, have you witnessed to your mom?" By the way, my mom next month, in a month, she'll be 101. Yes, my father was right. Only the good die young. But here's the thing. They said, "Do you witness to your mom?" And I said, "Every day. By my life, by my example. But have you ever told her about Jesus?" And I said, "My mom knows what I believe. I don't have to remind her of it. What I have to do is draw her heart. Show her that I'm a safe person, safe place to be, and that the God I serve is not a threat to what she believes. And if I can't do that, oh, and by the way, you witness by everything you do, and when necessary, use words. Going deeper isn't about hanging on a gallery wall and letting the world see a masterpiece, because they have to come in here. It's about going out there. Lord, let me be the glove you wear to show someone you care. Can you show someone you care just by being there? By being in the right place and listening for the still small voice of God that says that if he can use a guy with no arms, 4 feet 6 inches tall, a tiny giant, if he can do through me, think what he could do through you. And by the way, Stuart, thank you so much for sowing into my life. The 4.5 years that I've been privileged to come and share these Friday nights with people who love your choice of Christian entertainment. And by the way, Christian entertainment is a good thing, because it gets us all fired up and all revved up to go out there and love on people and show the grace of God and the goodness of God. So my question is, what is your excuse for not going deeper? What are you going to tell him when you stand in front of him and he asks you why you didn't use the gifts you have? I met a young man at the hotel. His name is Riley. I told him last night, if he doesn't come to the concert tonight, I was going to tell everybody that attends that the night clerk at the Comfort Inn on Southbridge, he's 18 years old, he's 6'3", something like that, and he wants to be a tattoo artist, and he's got the greatest spirit. And I invited him to come tonight, and he said he was going to, and I told him, well, if he doesn't, I'm telling everybody at the concert that Riley crapped out on me. So y'all swing by there late night one night and say, Riley, but I gave him my card. I told him about my website and told him what I did, and he stuck it, and he says, if I call you, I said, I'll answer. Why? It's not about just making a friend. It's about being the presence of God to this 18-year-old. Showing him that God can use his talent. I told a church one time, pastor, in fact, I talked to him Tuesday. We were with him. He said, we're short on musicians at our church. And I said, Tim, you want to get musicians for your church? Go to the local clubs, piano bars, and invite them to come use their talent to honor God. I was part of a church in Memphis, Tennessee. We had 3 piano players and 3 drummers, all came and became believers and became a part of our music teams, all because we invited them. And one drummer said, well, I don't know if I can do that, because he said, I haven't been in a church in an awful long time, and the building might fall down. And you know what the drummer said to him? We'll put up scaffolding when you're here. Why? Because they think that because they're not going to church, that they don't belong here with us. They think you don't want them because they live a life that you don't approve of. They think, and we have to go deep enough with God that we can change the way they think. We don't have to preach it. We just have to live it and invite them. That's why I like your pastor. That's why I like Stuart. Because we can laugh together and we can joke. And when I have a need, Pastor Ed Perry's one of the people that I call, don't I? Sometimes in the daytime. Sometimes at night. But from the time that Les Green invited me and introduced you and me, I have been grateful for a friendship that I know I will cherish for the rest of my life. Your job is to share that friendship that you have with God so deep that you don't even have to tell them. They'll feel it and they'll want it. Lord, let me be the glove you wear to show someone you care. One more story and then I'm done. In 1979, actually in 1978, I was up in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. I had my trio, the one with 5 members. And we were rehearsing, doing sound check. Just leave the music down for now, Carl. And we were singing, and down the aisle came this lady, and she, no, Carl, just leave it. Just stop. Okay. Thank you. This lady came down the aisle, and she stopped about halfway down. And she just stood there and listened. So I stopped the group because she looked like she needed to tell me something. I said, "Can I help you?" She said, "You ever heard of a guy named Gordon Jensen?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "He's a friend of mine. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee." And she said, "He's from Canada." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I know that too." And she said, "He just wrote and recorded a song called The Glove, and it would be perfect for you." And as soon as she said that, she finished walking down the aisle, turned off to that side, and walked out the door. We went back to singing, we went back to sound check, and from off the side over here came a gentleman who I presume to be the maintenance guy. Came about halfway across, somewhere around where Pastor Ed is texting.
Police are texting me, so.
Oh, okay.
It's about you.
Oh, okay. And so he stopped. He listened, and so I stopped the group again, and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "You ever heard of Gordon Jensen?" I said, "Yeah, he's a friend of mine." "Well, he's got a brand new song called The Glove, and it would be perfect for you." And then he walked straight across and out the door. We went to the house that night that we were going to be eating dinner at, and I asked them if they had attended the concert with Gordon Jensen and Sunrise. And they said, yes, they were fantastic. And I said, you wouldn't happen to have the album that they just came out with The Glove? Yeah, we do, and we haven't played it yet. That'd be a great song for you. You see where this is going? So they pulled it out, and I listened. And in my spirit, I heard the presence of the Lord say, I gave him this song for you. In 1979, we went to the studio. We recorded The Glove, just like you heard it. It was about 10:15, 10:30, and I called him. I said, Gordon, you home? He said, yeah. We just finished mastering The Glove. Can I come up? He lived about 30 minutes away. He lived in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He said, Jeff, it's going to be 11 o'clock. I said, Gordon, it's important. I made an extra master for the song, for the album, The Glove, and I need you to hear it. I need to know that I did it right. He said, come on. And I went into his living room. He had this beautiful grand piano in his living room. I wanted to drool all over it, but I was afraid it would warp. I put the needle on the master and I watched as he listened. And the biggest tears came down his eyes, down his face. And I looked at him and I said, did I get it wrong? He said, no. He said, we have a beautiful arrangement of that song, but you have an arrangement that captures the heart. I believe God gave me this song for you. I've sung it in corporations. I've sung it for schools, prisons. Sometimes they're the same thing. I've sung it for conventions. I've sung it in banquet halls. I sang it on national television. And the response is always the same. Years later, Stu, he came up to me. I was at Trevecca Nazarene College in Nashville, Tennessee. And he said, Jeff, I can sing the song. We can do a beautiful arrangement. But as often as I've sung that song, it never had the power it has coming from you. Because of who you are. Because of what God does through you to touch the hearts of others. That's what going deeper is all about. Getting out of your comfort zone and getting out there. So here's what I want us to do. Sit up straight, put your feet on the floor, poke your elbows out, jab somebody in the ribs if you're close enough. And repeat after me, I'm. Oh, come on. I know Methodists that have been dead 5 years that can do better than that. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Turn to somebody, look them in the eye, tell them you're a masterpiece in progress. When an artist starts painting on a blank piece of canvas, doesn't always look very good. You're wondering what it's gonna be like when it's done, if it's ever gonna look like it should. When the colors start blending, shapes begin forming, you begin to see the master design. When the last stroke is painted and the brush is laid down, it's exactly what he had in mind. I'm a masterpiece in progress. He is still working on me. I may not look like it yet, You better bet I'm becoming all he wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Now, won't be too long till I've done a few more strokes of the brush and the master's touch. I'll be in the image of the sun. When you look at me, you'll see a half-finished picture, pieces of what I'm gonna be. God is still working real hard in my life, painting things that only He can see. The total victory trio. All a part of what He has planned. He'll complete what He started in His own perfect time if I submit to the brush in His hand. I'm a masterpiece in progress. He is still working on me. I may not look like it yet. You better bet I'm becoming all He wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Now, won't be too long till I've done a few more strokes of the brush and the master's touch. I'll be in the image of the sun. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Jesus is working on me. I may not look like it yet. You better bet I'm becoming all He wants me to be. I'm a masterpiece in progress. Won't be too long till I've done a few more strokes of the brush and the master's touch. And I'll be in the image of the sun. You ready, Jeff? The sun. The sun. And you're a masterpiece. And you're a masterpiece. And you're a masterpiece. And you too, Stu and Pastor Ed and Jeff, well, maybe. And me, I'm a masterpiece in progress. Yeah. Come on up here. Come on up here. No, kill the track. I love coming here. It's a highlight of my life. I don't think I could imagine a year that I don't get to stop in this place. You're stuck with me.
I figured. You got my phone number, so.
Besides, we've got so much in common. We're both good looking.
Yes, very.
Humble.
Yeah, extremely.
Yes. Our humility prevents us from telling you how truly humble we are.
That is very true.
We both drive Uber.
We do. We both drive Uber. Yeah.
And people take a second look at both of us.
They're less frightened with me, though.
We started a tradition, a couple of years ago? Where we would auction off some products, some merchandise.
Yes.
And just to mention, we have CDs back there, and almost every song we did tonight is on a CD. The only one that's not is He Will Provide, and that's on the DVD. But we have, all of our music is on recording. We have 4 paintings that I painted when I was a teenager, and they're suitable for framing. We have my autobiography, my book, Masterpiece in Progress. We have a limited supply, but we have some books here tonight. And then we have the audiobook as well. We're going to give you a break on the audiobook. We'll probably reduce them down to 15 because some of the boxes are a little bit nicked, but the discs are fine. So we'll reduce them down to 15 if you want to have them. CDs and books are 15. We have a Hebrew special.
The Hebrew special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 for 30, 3 for 45, 4 for 60.
That's awesome. That's such a deal he has
Such
for you.
a deal.
So
Tell
I
you-
went to the football game the beginning of the year, and I think I sat in the Jewish section. They were all yelling, "Get the quarterback! Get the quarterback!"
Take it home and work on it. You know, there are those of us, we know how to tell jokes. 6, I guess you know how to tell a joke better than I do. Anyway, we've got a set, the Masterpiece in Progress CD and the book. And what we're going to do is we're going to auction them off as a set. That would be normally start at $30, and I'm going to let the
You're
auctioneer.
not supposed to tell them the price. That
Oh.
way they overpay.
Oh,
But that's okay.
they already knew it was 15 apiece.
Oh, they did? Oh, yeah, that's right. You did say that, didn't you?
Yes, get the
15,
quarterback.
30, 45.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, get the quarterback.
Yeah,
Get the quarterback.
Get the quarterback.
So I'm going to let you do your thing, okay?
Okay.
You tell them what you want them to know, and then you do it.
Sure. So, is anybody here not read Jeff's book before? A few of you. All right. How many of you like to laugh? How many of you like to cry? How many of you like to get, in a good mood or feel encouraged? How many of you like to get angry? Not really, but you will by reading this book. All of those things in it. I have read it. I've listened to his audio, the audio book in my car, and Jeff's story is just absolutely amazing. He will help you to realize that no matter what the circumstances in your life, that you can still be used by God, and that's what his whole life is all about. That's what his ministry is about, and that's what he goes around telling people is it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what God has dealt you. You're a masterpiece. You're a masterpiece in project because you're perfectly and wonderfully made exactly the way God wanted you to be. So I'm going to auction these off and be generous like Stu had shared earlier. Jeff drove here. Carl didn't drive. Jeff did. So that's why Carl doesn't say a lot when he gets here. He gets all his prayer time in on the way up. And then on the way home. So
Yeah, he knows I'm driving home, so he's already crying.
he was back there. I heard him praying already back there. Just just traveling mercies. Could you imagine getting in a car out of an airport and seeing this guy as your Uber driver? I mean, hey. Anyways, here, give me a bit 30, give me a bit 25, give me a bit $25. Who give me 25 for the set right now? Give me a bit 25, give me a bit 5, give me a bit 5, give me a bit $25. 25. You all know how an auction works?
There's a hand back in the back.
Yeah, 25. Give me a bit $30 now. Give me a bit 25 and now. Give me a bit $30 bill. 25 I got now 30. Give me 25. Give me a bit 30. Got now 5. Give me a bit 30. What's that? I got $100, 110. Every one, every bit 10, every 10, every 10, 110, 110. Where? Every one, every bit 10, every 10, every 10, every 10, 110. Anybody else? 110, every bit 10, $110. Sold $100 to Roger and Diane. Thank you very much. Who do you want to make check out to, Jeff?
Jeff Steinberg.
Ed Perry.
Yeah.
You gonna sing one more?
I don't know.
Do you got one more?
Do you want me to?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I
well,
do.
Before we do, can Carl just put some music on for a minute? And let's bow our heads for a moment. I think what I like about being here is I love the spirit. I love the spirit of ministry that's in this place. We have been in his place and we have laughed. Sometimes we've laughed until we've cried. Sometimes we've shared and cried. And Lord, we've always walked away from this place saying, what are you going to do through me? How do I deal with this? How do I show a world that's angry, governments fighting with each other, killing its citizens, politicians yelling at each other, squabbling over the stupidest stuff. And yet we call ourselves believers, but we can't get along. How do we, from a little town called Millbury, show the world what the grace of God looks like? In the workplace, at school, at play, in moments of grief and sadness, in moments of celebration. Lord, take our excuses, take our upsets and our anger and our hurt and our frustrations, wash it all away with the blood of the cross. And then help us to take the smile of God to our friends and our neighbors, to our bosses, to people who don't like us, and people who don't live like us. May we be so deep that at a moment's notice, we can hear you say, we're going to do something outrageous. We're going to really bless somebody. Just like this couple just did for me by buying my book and CD. They didn't have to. If we're going to call ourselves by your name, if we're going to wear the banner of the cross and the resurrection, then God help us to let the world see you through me. Let me be the glove you wear to show someone you care, a masterpiece in progress. In Jesus' name, amen. So I'm going to do this song. I think I've sung it here before. You can go ahead and kill that anytime now. And I told the group last night, when I recorded this song, I fell in love with it because it tells a story. I love story songs. My arranger goes bonkers with me because he knows I'll pick ballads over, rock and roll or, upbeat songs, because I want something that touches the heart. And I heard this song, and I find myself in different circumstances saying the same thing. To my wife, when I sing it to her. To my friend, because you mean so much, and you lift my life to a better place, both of you. And you know how you've blessed me, Stu. And I thank you for that. Every day, in a unique and different way. Jeff, just meeting you, it's been such a blessing. Thank you. Because not once did I ever hear him say to me, well, we just can't do it. I can't make it happen. That's what you want. And that's what you do. Carl, you give and you give and you give and you give. You fix our house. He just replaced the washers in our bathtub. He helps me when I go out on the road. He helps me get dressed. It was funny. The chief's wife was joking last night when we messed up in the beginning, and she turned and looked and said, "He only has one job to do." And we're all laughing, and I'm thinking, you don't know how many jobs Carl has. See, ministry is about doing the stuff nobody notices. But they get done because he does them even though nobody notices. He helps me take a bath. He helps me get dressed. He helps me get undressed. And all the things you don't want to know about. So this song, when I said to Don Hart, I want to do this song, and I want to do it big. And I'll tell you who I heard sing it the first time was Cynthia Clausen. And I heard it on her cassette. And they recorded it multi-track, and then they squashed all the orchestration in the middle. And I'm saying, I hear French horns, and I hear this big, robust, big. But the bandwidth wasn't enough, and they just kind of killed it. They murdered it. So I said to Don, I want to do this song because it's my way of saying to my friends, thank you. You have been my finest hour. If I measured life by time alone, by simply adding up the minutes I have spent, by seeing my life as a stream of main events from which I emerged, a sometimes sort of champion. If I thought my days were nothing more than bits of sand that ran down too fast, too soon, and the only world I knew was locked inside this room, then even so, I'd want you to know have been my finest hour, flowering through the springtime and the winters of my days, and like a portrait painter in oh so many ways, you have painted me as I am now. I have known, giving me the love I thought that I could never own, giving me the chance to chase my loneliness away. There, amidst this life that I call mine, you have been my finest hour. Write my history, there could never be a chapter quite as rare. No, there could never be a one that could compare with the one that's in between. All I've lost dream like the one that seems to speak to me of you. I know it's true. You have been my finest hour, flowering through the springtime and the winters of my days. And like a portrait painter in oh so many ways, you have painted me as I am now. You have been my finest hour, towering and timeless from the others I have known. Giving me the love I thought that I could never own. Giving me the chance to chase my loneliness away. There amidst this life that I call mine, been my finest Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Once again, it's a hand for Jeff Steinberg. Thank Jeff and Lucille and staff tonight. For Gus and Lily for helping out, for Pastor Ed, and of course, Carl. Amazing. Thank you, Carl. God bless y'all. Hey, we got Undefeated and Saved by Scarlet next week. It'll challenge what you think about Christian music. And you get to see some kids, some young folks who are really on fire for the Lord. Come catch their spirit. Next week, Rock the Mill. God bless y'all. God bless and have a great night.
This bitterness in my heart, headed down the front door. No place for you where Jesus himself shines through.
Thank you.